Hey guys, welcome to another live stream. Hopefully I'm not too bright on there. It's so difficult getting the light levels right. I'll just get the chat up, bear with me. Do that. Here we are, right, and test the sound. How we're doing. Right, and test the sound. Sounds okay to me. Hello, Henrik. How are you doing? David, Mark, good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, I thought I had so much time then. And even then I was a few minutes late. Mind you, that's kind of... Graham, by the way, Graham, your package is in the post. So hopefully... that'll be with you soon. The invite sounds good. Thank you, Henrik. Yeah. Friday evenings looks like it's going to be probably more realistic for me, I think, as we move forward. Partly because it seems like maybe Thursday nights we're going to be playing some games and board games with my sister-in-law. So that's always great. Nick, good to see you. Got to have 40 minutes to spare for the video. So fantastic. Good to have you here, my friend. Austin, good to see you. Logged in and got Paul. Not quite this is Austin. Yeah, it says Austin there. Austin. Oh, Paul. Logged in for Paul. Okay. Got you. Well, I think I have. I think potentially. Blaine, how are you doing? That is a really good question. So Blaine has asked, does animal companions include pack animals and horses? Well, I've got a little bit of a brainstorming board going on here at the top, as you can see. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a few notes. All right. Frank, good to see you. How are you doing, Frank? James. Good. I'm glad that helped, James. The email list. If you're watching the vlog back after this, there is an email list. The link is in the video description, and you can click on that. It takes you to a form where I then put your email on a list, and then I send you out a reminder a couple of hours before the stream. Fingers crossed. It may be 3 hours before the stream, maybe 2 hours before the stream. And if I forget, it'll be half an hour. Right. So today, what I wanted to do is I want to talk a little bit about where we're at with the animal companions. And on here, put a few notes. Just because it occurred to me as I'm writing, and there's not really much other news, because I'm just basically working on the animal companions at the moment. And I'm a little way off a version 1 for my proofreaders to have a look at yet. Mark, Nick, you guys. But we're getting there. But I thought it'd be fun this evening just to sort of throw a few things out to people. Ghost companions. Well, that one is a little bit off the mark when it comes to animal companions. So we'll try and focus it down. I mean, basically, what I'm going to ask, and you don't have to answer now because we just got to let people get in first, matriculate in. I want people to I'm going to throw it out there, and basically what people want from animal companions. I want to kind of get a vibe, get a bit of a feel for what people expect as well. So I meant like summon the lion ghost using spectral points. Austin. Paul or Austin? I'm confused now. I want a little mushroom companion. Yeah, that's an interesting. The fantastical. It's funny, but actually, wonder how much expectation there is for fantastical. Oh, you're a Paul's son. Okay. Okay. All right, Austin. I'll call you Austin. So, what I'll basically start with is kind of where I'm at, David. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, David. Squirrels are in there, definitely. So there is a. So basically, where we're at is okay. I have been fleshing out the rules. I've been working away at it, doing bits and pieces. I've got a few other things like the Cowboy RPG, the Cowboy game. I'm doing little bits on as well. I've had to do some stuff around the house the last week. And, sort the kids out a bit. So it's been a bit of a mix this week. But, I mean, working away at Animal Companions. And I'm like... so, it's grown to be more than what it was originally. Let's say that first. So, originally, we had just the 3 types of Animal Companion that I was going to do. And I can't even remember what those were now, but one of them was a dog. And then that grew to something more encompassing. So a wider range of animals with a wider range of abilities, as these things often do. Yes. Okay. Love them squirrels, Mark says. Well, and I was kind of like, so what are the benefits of having different types of animal companion? So for me, it was an animal that would go with you during your journeys, during your travels, right? So I can't imagine that a pack animal would do that. On the outskirts, maybe. Maybe on the outskirts. Let's just maybe have a little bit more there. Where you're in the realm. But I think animal companions are going to be more about in the dungeon. This is an expansion for the dungeon. So at the moment, the realm aspect to it is less important because this is expanding out 2d6 dungeon. So let's bear that in mind. So it's rooms where these animals are going to be used. So a horse in your dungeon is probably not going to work, unfortunately. It's as much as I'd love it to, it would be difficult. Now, Austin says birds. Now, that is good. Austin, is that something that you're hoping for? Because the way that I've broken it down so far is... Maybe I'm getting to this a little bit early. Maybe we should let... Good evening, Lord McRae. Jeff Stahl, good to see you. Alerting birds. So they've got some great stuff here. Llamas. Now I'm going to write llamas here because is that a double L? Llamas. I just love that idea. Llamas. Hadn't thought of llamas, but they would be a good companion, wouldn't they, to have in the thing. So alerting. So already there clearly are 2 types of animal companion. One that has general attributes, like general skills. So I'm calling them animal abilities. Okay, there are 2 types. There's general abilities and there's combat abilities. General abilities are for, as you say, birds or animals that might alert. Mark, I got those links and I had a good look at some of those links, by the way. Did I not respond? I'm sorry if I didn't. There may have been a flurry of emails on that particular occasion. Maybe I didn't respond to all of them. But yeah, they were useful. Thank you for that. That's very useful. So let me just say here, I'll be demanding less squirrels tonight. I'm going to step aerobics while watching the stream. Fantastic. Brilliant. Alerting animals, yes. So what you need is, so an animal may well be alert, may be able to scurry up and grab something that's high up. It may well be something that forages for you, or scavenges rather, because it's more kind of internal type stuff. So it may be like a small animal could find the smaller crevices and retrieve stuff for you, like mushrooms and bits and pieces. That could be how that works. Traveling with Todd, how are you doing? Good to see you. Daniel, good to see you. The pangolins, a great armoured companion. Honey badger. Oh, I'm going to write these, just put these on here. Just bear with me a little bit. So, yeah, I'm like... I'm kind of like, well, what real benefit in a dungeon is an animal that doesn't fight? Is it going to serve? Yeah, I mean, like Mark says there, recon, fetch, inventive usage. Yeah, exactly. Because that's another input. That's what I was going to come on to that. Because if you think about it, an intelligent companion that is small and non-combative might well add to the inventive usage aspect of the game. So it would be, if you needed to reach something, as I was saying before, you would potentially before have to come up with some rig whereby you could climb or throw something up. But if you had an animal, you could just send it up to get it. If you had a little monkey, something like that. I'm going to write this down here. Yeah. And raccoon. Something small that can crawl into crevices and reach switches that you can't. Switches, yeah. To be honest, I mean, there's not too many switches in the game. It's not something that I kind of... The dormouse, yeah, dormouse. That's an interesting little one. They're quite smart and intelligent, aren't they? I mean, I had rat on the list in that kind of guise. So I'm kind of like... So there are general abilities. So as I was saying, they're kind of limited to a certain extent for how useful they might be. Nick's on the mushrooms, man. Are you tripping out on those mushrooms over there, Nick? Jeff, good to see you. Made it. Good to see you. Wow, Jeff. Can we just have a little congratulations to Jeff in the chat? He is now a proud grandfather or grandpa. So can we just congratulate Jeff? I feel that there should be some chat love going on there. Well done, Jeff. Hope you've got a big smile on your face. You should be very proud. Yeah. Hey, Amiga. You old git. Oh, man. I'm well jealous. Gerbil. What about fae or mythical creatures? Yes. Right, we'll get to that. Passeur. How are you doing, my friend? Fae or mythical. All right, so sense danger, like undead. That's a nice one. I like that. Sense danger. Nice one, Jeff. Fantastic. Meerkat. I don't know. They're just so irritating. And mushroom. So, okay, mythical or mushroom. Now, with all seriousness, you're not going to have a mushroom companion, are you? But if there was some magic that could make something like that, maybe there would be a mushroom creature that emerges. I don't know. There are like a fungi branch within the game, you know, like musty bloaters, for example. What else do we got? I can't even remember my own creatures. Well done, everybody. That's great. Did I get to see your giant dungeon yet? Amiga, can you send that again if I've not responded? Because that is weird. Email it to toby@drgames.co.uk. I'd love to see it, my friend. Porcupine. Is that what you meant? Is that porcupine? Gonna put that one in there. Porcupine. I support this. Well done, Austin. Adds to rolls. Has its own rolls to roll on a table. I missed that there, Omega. Does companion give hints or gifts? Well, they may find you things, you see. I think that's part of what this is about. So, if you had a dog companion, now you could use it to attack. All right. Fox. Yeah, let's put that down there. A mole, Graham. I don't know whether. So I think these animals have to have a certain level of intelligence and ability. So a mole is designed for digging underground. Now, clearly you're in a dungeon, you're digging underground, but how is it going to move? I mean, to keep it in your pocket? I mean, is it going to like just kind of scrape along on the dungeon? I mean, look, I know I have to apply a certain amount of common sense to these. Yeah, the fox is definitely on the list. I've already put the fox on the list before. I've got about, I think I've got about 12 animals so far. Dung beetle, Graham says. Domestic giant spider with a chance to web the attacker for 1 round, so they lose an attack. Bat. So I think what those mean is people want insect companions. But the insect companions, right, are going to have to be slightly... So, yeah, a giant spider, but it may be a creature like that. I may make a few creatures that satisfy these criteria and are kind of native to Corradine. So, insect-like creatures. So, although you jest, I'm sure, and the monkey is on the list, by the way. Hey, a groundhog. It will come out during the end of the winter. Spider companions, Nick's put down. Yeah, insect-like creatures, I think, definitely a thing. So what I was kind of thinking as well, which is another reason why it's kind of drawn this process out slightly, is it might be nice to have some unusual native creatures. So if there was a bat type creature, but you couldn't just have a bat, could you? I mean, it sounds like a nice idea, but it becomes a little bit comical. And I think although you can bring as much comedy to your games as you like, the design of Corodine is very much in a kind of in a serious state, I guess. If we start going down things which people then won't believe, you've got to believe you're in a dungeon, even though it's totally made up. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's a certain you can mini dragons. That goes back to the mythical. Thank you, James. A skeleton, maybe. A bat would be neat. Maybe some sort of preview of what's in the next room, like enemies, or maybe something you missed in the current room. That's probably more the point. It's very difficult to introduce a mechanic for seeing ahead. That is one problem with doing a game like this, in a sense. If you generate the content ahead, you then give yourself the option of not going that way, and then managing which rooms on the map you've been in when you've just drawn in on the map what you know is ahead, but you haven't been there, it suddenly becomes incredibly complicated. And we want to keep things simple. Melbell, good to see you. I just got here. But I need a panda. For God's sake, that is brilliant. Panda, definitely. So we're not going to have pack animals. So I'm going to take that off the list. I'm going to put panda at the top there. I agree. Panda's a good one. I hadn't thought about pandas, but we'll have a particular type of panda, I think. It's like you see the monkey on the cover of the book, of the actual book itself. That is going to be a type of monkey, but it's going to be slightly different from a normal monkey, if you like. It's going to have something extra about it. A falcon, though that would be more for overland. Well, that's a really good question. I think birds of prey are a yes. I think you can have a bird of prey and it will sit on your shoulder, or it will fly up to a ledge, or it will keep itself occupied. I think with the animal companions, we have to have a certain aspect to that. They won't always necessarily be with you. Sometimes they will disappear, but they are in close proximity. So they will appear when you need them. Venomous animal where you can harvest the venom to poison your weapon. Jeff, you're on it. That is a good idea. I also thought about a falcon. Yes. Harvest poison from companion. That's a very good idea. I like that. And it may not just be poison. There may be other things you could harvest, like healing chemicals, or if you had your little mushroom man, you could harvest some mushrooms, as Nick was saying earlier. I've missed a couple. If I miss any, I do apologise. Why not pack animals? Was there a reason I missed? Sorry. Yes, Amiga. I love the idea, and I think that will come. But you already have a horse in the realm. So I don't know whether you remember reading in there that you have a horse you can travel around the realm on. So that's kind of ticked already. He is there for you, but you can't take a horse into a dungeon. You just can't. That poor horse would be killed. It just wouldn't know what to do with itself. So as much as I appreciate that as a starting point, do you think enemies that live in colonies like ants or bees can perform coordinated action that can aid you? Wow. That is a good Blaine. That is a good question. With the danger of getting poisoned yourself, a risk. That is a good, Jeff. That is a good point. So, I think swarms or colonies are probably something that is too much. There would have to be a whole series of new mechanics just for that one type of animal or of companion. It would make it very difficult, and there would have to be some sort of magical element to controlling them because they're insects. This is why on the insect-like creatures thing on the list there is probably the kind of to increase its intellect, so its intelligence, so that it's like controllable, if you like. So it can be functional. Vincent, good to see you. Missed a few here. Sorry, guys. Probably something he wants. Yes, probably. But maybe something there could be a base that was modified. Maybe. I'm not quite sure what you mean there, James. If no one else is going to ask, I will. If we're low on HP, can we eat the animal? No. Because if you think about it, if you're low on HP and you eat your animal, there'd have to be a whole set of circumstances that would make that valid, I think. I just don't think it would. I mean, thinking about it practically. James, I had that same idea. You could also use sanctuary rules and use your... Oh, that's a different game. Passeur. Yeah, that's a different world, different game. But I like your linking. Thank you for that reference. Panda can provide warmth, and it can give them bamboo. They can strip it for wood, twine, or make a rope, etc. That is a very good point, actually. So I'm just going to put that up here. Making things. Survival, yeah. Survival. That type of thing. The animals, if they know those skills, they could potentially... I like that idea, Mel Bell. That's good. Omega, I haven't gotten to Realm just yet. That makes sense, though. Maybe he could wait outside the dungeon and you could load the horse up, assuming you can have... potentially. I mean, look. I think that we have to remember that this is separate from the realm. Although it's there and you could be playing the realm, you can play 2d6 dungeon animal companion without the realm. It's not reliant on the realm, and we must remember that all these expansions expand the dungeon rather than the realm. I suspect there could be an overland expansion for animals at some point, but not for the foreseeable future. Panthers on my list. That's good, Jeff. I like that one. Attack animals, I'm assuming like cougar or lynx. Yes, Austin. Yeah. So we kind of already I've just spoken a little bit about the fact that there are general abilities. Each general ability has a set of criteria. It has its own leveling up. So abilities level up. An animal gets better at... Your animal companion gets better at these particular abilities and gains XP for using them. The animal itself doesn't level up. It's abilities that level up. So you will be working. They will increase their facility. They will be better at what they do over time. So and there's a function for that. Each skill has a leveling up, and then some skills have a table on which you roll. So if you have a scavenging animal and you decide you send it to scavenge within a space, given that the criteria for that scavenging are met, it will go and scavenge and potentially find you something. So it's stuff like that. Ticks to pull poison from you. Yeah, that would be fun. You could have a whole bunch of animals that each has one function. You could have a tick. Take the tick out of a box. Just put it on the... That could work. Only if you're a monster, Mel Bell. Puts David in his place. Thank you, Mel Bell. I'm a vegetarian, he comes back with. Throw a beehive at your enemy, lol. I've got them. Yes, well, that would be something you might find in the dungeon and you use inventive usage and throw it anyway. So you that wouldn't necessarily need to feature in an animal companion. That's just pure inventive usage. Start with animals from the Alien Sanctuary world and tweak them for... I see. Gelatinous cube. No, I'm not going to give a response to that one. If the companion dies and is not an insect, you have to find fire to cook it, and you'd get blooded in the process. Exactly, Jeff. Jeff comes in with a whole bunch of common sense stuff. They're fantastic. Good depressing point, Lars. Jeff. Yeah. Did you already talk about how you would come to have an animal companion? No, and that's a good point. Good point, Jeff. So, ostrich is on the list already, Graham. Ostrich is there. So, this animal companion that you have is an animal that you met, that you found when it was an infant, and you have raised it over the years. And it has bonded to you. And the Zegor priests have enhanced that bond with their meditation techniques. And you are bound to this creature in a sense. Now, you can make what you want of that as a player and in your game. Okay, but you have... This creature's been a... Now, if that is weird that you're level 5 and suddenly you've got an animal companion now, it might be that is their time to join you. So there's a certain flexibility to the discovery, but there is a section in the rules that talks about how you meet the animal, how you come across this animal, and I may well add a little bit of optional narrative table where you can roll, and there's an occasion or a situation where you find a companion. If you've already got a character and you want an animal companion, this may well play into that. So it may be that you have an encounter in the realm or the dungeon and you find an animal. So we'll see. But it is about finding this animal young, and it grows up and it is bound to you. And I feel like we have to have that, because you're going to be asking this animal to do some pretty dangerous things in the dungeon. So the link is strong. The force is strong. Can animals have quests like returning to their habitat? Well, because you found them young and they were injured, they're not like says that was Passeur. They're not in a situation where they can survive in the wild again, because they're too domesticated. You know, sometimes that happens. If you look after an animal, it's separated from its mother or father. It doesn't learn the skills to go back into the wild, and it's kind of like that situation. If the animals level up, does that mean the animal abilities level up, that they're backwards compatible with the base game and the first 2 layer expansions, or would you consider this too OP? They are. That's a really good I'm going to put that down there. Yeah. That is a good question. I hadn't thought about that, David. That's kind of like ahead of the game. I'm moving forward at the moment, and that feels very much about thinking back. But it's a really good point, and I think they will be. So if you get a new animal companion, and it's fresh and young, although they can still serve you, they can still be useful. So that is a good point. You may take a level 1. As I say, these animals, they're not levels. So there's not a level 10 dormouse, for example. All right, there is a dormouse with some skills, and it's how you use those skills that can benefit you. So we may not need to backwards compatible them. Now, when it comes to combat skills, that may be different. We may need to think about how that can work. But realistically, the jackalope don't even know what that is. Is that some sort of deer? I put that in there. So realistically, right? Your animal is not going to be as strong. I'm working down the questions in the chat here. Your animal is going to struggle in the fight. Okay. They're not going to be leveling up like you do. So the way that I've worked it is they will have combat abilities. So that might be a type of attack that you can then trigger. Now in combat, to try and use this ability. So imagine you're fighting with the enemy. There's things going on. Animals trying to dive in and do their attack, right? You have to roll above the fatigue die on a d6. Okay. So initially, these creatures are going to be in a position where they can get their attacks in. But over time, they're going to be worn down. They're going to take knocks and bashes. And as the fight goes on, they're going to be less effective, as you are. So, although it does make it easier to hit your enemy, the animals themselves are going to have more of a backward step. Now, some are going to have more ability to last longer in fights. Okay. But you are going to use them like an ability. So rather than placing an animal card next to your card and you both fight the enemy, it's not going to work like that. It's just the very nature of having something like that is as well. You can't, if you have a level, if for some reason I created animal companions to be like having another warrior next to you, it would destroy the game in a sense because it would be overbalanced. It would be OP. So you wouldn't have a level 10 creature fighting beside you. You'd have a creature that was more skilled at doing certain things. And that's because, if you think about it, the whole game has been set up for one person. And the best way to bring an animal companion into the game is for them to give you skills, to give you options, and bring in an additional flexibility to how you approach certain situations, maybe, including combat. Right. Komodo dragon would be a badass pet, but can fight and you can extract venom. Komodo dragons. Now, that is an interesting one. I think I'm kind of very much... I mean, I'm writing that down there, but the intelligence of some creatures it weighs in my mind, okay? So if you try and can you tame a Komodo dragon? That is the question. I'm not sure you can. In a sense, lizards, as much as we would like them to be pets that you can walk around with, they won't. If you say, "Hey, Mr. Lizard, follow me," he's not going to do it, is he? Now, I know that I'm applying a certain amount of real world logic to this, and you don't have to do that with this sort of creation. But I kind of feel like Corodine requires that. The setting requires a certain amount of common sense. So that's kind of how I feel about it. Canines and felines are going to be there. So, James, do not worry. Austin, I want a platypus that I can put a little brown hat on. Austin, I think you're playing your own game there, mate. So if your companion does not survive, it would not be an easy thing to get another one. Now, that's a good point. So you have to look after your companion, and yes, if you lost your companion, it would be difficult to get another one. But that's not to say that you won't find an infant animal again and raise them over a period of time. So it may be that you have to wait a certain amount of time before that happens. Maybe there's like a time frame. Perhaps it's good question, Jeff. Yes. What happens if they die? That is the sad question. A jackalope is a rabbit with deer horns. Oh, okay. I mentioned the compatible bit in an email. Which bit was that? So the platypus thing is, I was seriously thinking about water-based animals and how they could function, and I kind of feel like they can't because we're in a dungeon. So unfortunately, as much as you may want a dolphin as your companion, it's just not going to happen. And the platypus is a water-based creature, so it's difficult. I hate to say no, and I think on some level I need to have some flexibility in here where people can do something exotic like that, or something a bit ludicrous. They can like take that and use it. So I'm thinking that maybe there will be some kind of extra thing going on. So it may be an option where you can maybe have mythical creatures if you want, because the mythical creatures, the fantastical creatures, they're not really part of how I see the animal companions working. And I was careful to call it animal companions, and that's part of the reason why. Now, if it's mythical companions, if there was an expansion called Mythical Companions, you could imagine all of those mushrooms and dragons going into that book. But because it says animal companions, I'm kind of feel obligated to keep it within that realm, so to speak. A Jinx, yeah, that's a good. I actually have some in a glass bottle. I've got to go and get and pretend it's from Austin. Nice. Kangaroo, powerful kick attack. Wow. Kangaroo-like. I like the idea of a kangaroo. Now, having seen many kangaroos myself, I know that they would make lousy companions. Item storage. Melbell comes out. I love it. In the pouch, yeah. An animal that could carry stuff for you. But is in the dungeon and not a pack animal. See, maybe there is a way of working that around Omega. Jack Russell. Ankle biter. Well, you jest. But actually, one of the special skills may be ankle attack. So you can use it, maybe one of the benefits of that would be to disable any interrupt. I'm a little bit tired. Disable any interrupt that involves movement. So, for example, that might be as a result of having your ankles bit. Animal cards would be cool, though. You'd need a blank, dry eraser one for the player-created ones, though. Or you'd have a character sheet, basically. You are going to have a character sheet. So don't worry. You just have a little plastic card. You're going to have a character sheet where you keep track of your animal's abilities, health, and such, So there is going to be yes, Austin, the kangaroo kick here, that could be very mythical creature type. Yeah, I'm gonna kick Jeff. I'm gonna like, maybe that'll be something down the line. So for the moment, we'll focus in on animals, because I think we could get a good foundation there. The mythical creatures, I think, are going to involve other things. So I think at some point we're going to be looking at a magic expansion for 2D6 Dungeon. And that will facilitate something like mythical creature companions. But for the moment, we don't have the support for the magic side of it. So I'm loving the ideas. The age-old question: can you tame a kangaroo? No. I don't think so. I agree that it needs some kind of real-world logic to guide things a bit. I think so. Thanks, Jeff. I definitely think that based upon how the game's been designed so far, I think we need to keep that in mind. So that is Land Octopus. Well, actually, thinking about it, that some land type octopus. I like the idea. I'm open to all sorts of. I can try and frame it in the right way. It could work. A many tentacled creature is basically what you're saying. I will say the platypus was just a reference to the Phineas. To Phineas and Ferb. Well, there you go. Not a bad thing to reference. Amiga, so would you find a new animal on a table roll? If so, does that mean you can have more than one, or maybe take the new infant as loot and pick between them out of the dungeon? At the moment, it's just one animal companion that you take with you. Now, once I've completed the rules, I stand back and I look at it and I say, would that work with two? Maybe you could have two. We'll just have to see. I mean, it may be that you can have a second one that isn't a combat-based companion. So maybe you have an attacking companion and maybe a more functional general use type companion. A utility companion. Technically, insects are not animals. Indeed, that is a good point. What animals could help you avoid the patrol? Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of thing. So so there may be an ability, say an animal. I don't know what the ability was, but say it might affect your role when you're having to wait for a patrol to come. Maybe the animal distracts them and they are kind of guided away from an encounter. So that might be an ability, and that they just get lost in a dungeon and you don't actually encounter the patrol in that particular occasion. So some of the skills will be table specific, so you may not use them that much. So we'll just have to see how that goes. I like your thinking though, Amiga, and it could be that there is the option. And maybe I put a caveat like, if you want to have another one, you can, but this may well unbalance the game. You'll see. Yeah. So Amiga, I'm thinking mythical expansion, mythical companions would be a future expansion that would be done on another occasion. So, but for the moment, we want to get the animal companions nailed down, and the mythical companions could be fun. It could be that I create a bunch of mythical creatures for the world, or there's a certain Corradine. The setting for 2D6 Dungeon is not an amalgam of lots of other IPs. It's based upon real world stuff, really. That's kind of where it's coming from. Now, there's obviously influences. But I'm not grabbing Pegasus and putting Pegasus in 2D6 Dungeon. As much as someone might want that, it's a difficult thing. I'm trying to create something that has its own identity. If you see what I'm saying. That is true, Passer. What did Passer say? Yes. I think it's a great idea. Avoiding patrols. Let me just put that on here. Avoiding. There we go. I put that on there. Nice one. I thought that's what you meant by ruling out pack animals. I'm glad item storage may still be on the table. It might be. I'm a little bit behind on this. Sorry, guys. Giant beetle that crawls up your arm and acts as a shield to protect you. Fantastic. Animal shield. Put that on there. Good work. Good work. I like the idea. That's a good one, because it may be some animals in the fight could throw themselves in the way if they have protective armor. I was thinking about combining some animals like a turtle and a dog or something like that and creating a new animal species purely evolved to protect the pack, maybe. And so that then you are the pack and it protects you. So I'm kind of looking at designing some of these creatures. A Doberman, they are just scared of everything. Yeah, ability to be scared. An insane miniature poodle. They clamp on and don't let go. Yeah, I'm going in with my land croc. Yeah, the land croc is definitely potentially. I mean, we've already got the land croc, but it's a powerful beast, so it may not be. We'll have a look at that. That's going to fall in under that department of creating new creatures for this purpose. So we'll see. Pastor says you build an alien sanctuary in your realm. That's the ultimate crossover. You guys. Isn't the land octopus... Dave's been thinking about this one. Isn't a land octopus just a wet spider? Octopus, I love it. Mark just comes in with, octopus are intelligent, obviously. Very good. Not sure how this would work or what animal it would be, but some companion that could heal you every some number of rooms. Yes. Well, there's definitely going to be that element to it. Healing animals are going to be part of this. So we'll just have to see how that works. I'm not sure that licking wounds is going to serve as a healing thing. I don't know. You should pick... Melbell says you should pick 1 or 2 animals from the enemy list that we already face in the dungeon or overworld and add those in as options. I am looking at doing that. The land croc, definitely something I'm kind of thinking about potentially. In fact, the burrow sluice burrow slouse will be there. That is going to be, it's kind of like a badger type creature. A skunk, though once it sprays in the dungeon, all the dungeon level occupants will become aware of your presence. I feel like, Jeff, you type that idea, then you can't, maybe not. Very good. The beetle idea is brilliant. I like that idea. Using, having some sort of shield for the animal, that's fantastic. Need a way to heal animals and to repair their shield armor. Yes. Yeah, there's definitely going to be ways of healing the animal. It'll be a mechanism a bit like how you heal, so for example, herbal remedies will be maybe have more value because now you can use them to heal your animals. So that's another thing. And some animals will be able to find herbs potentially in given areas. An armadillo. Yes. David, what did David say? I can't remember if it was a book or a film I watched, but the character had a pet cricket that crawled inside locks to pick them from the inside. Wow. Again, it's an insect, isn't it? Putting that on there. All right. That is a fantastic. David, there's a bell. Paul, good to see you. A skunk to disable an opponent or drive away a patrol. Smells, yes. Going to put smells down here. That is a really good point as an ability. When facing an animal enemy, a spectral power to turn that enemy into your companion. Well, that is an interesting thought, Jeff. Not one that I kind of anticipate for this expansion, but control spells are pretty common in say games like D&D. So it may be that you do have a spectral ability, a special power that allows you to do that. But I don't know whether it would work if they became your companion. I think that might be difficult. Truffle pig finds mushrooms, and I am looking at the pigs option. Stefan, good to see you. I am doing well, my friend. I'm a little bit tired, but I am fine. Working on the Animal Companion book. It's taking a bit longer because it's clear that there's some real depth here that I really need to think about. And also, it's nice to have a bit of a session where people can give me some of their thoughts about Animal Companions. A bat that could alert you to an enemy in a room you haven't encountered yet. Also, just because they are cute. Yeah, and I want people to have a sense that their pet is going to be cute. You know, well, actually, no, that's a slip there. These are animal companions, they're not pets. There's very much a clear definition in the book. It states that they're not pets, they are companions. All right, so they're not something you tell to fetch stuff. These guys, they kind of have a link with you. These guys, these animals. Billy Goat is good. I actually think Billy Goat might be goats, some kind of goats. It definitely it is on the list here, I feel. So that is a good. I'm going to put goat there. It might be something like a cave goat. So something that is used to being underground. A goat. A parrot. Is that a parrot? Yes. Well, no. There's going to be there's going to be birds. So there's going to be falcons and hawks or something like that. No. Yeah. Falcons and hawks. So one's really fast. One's very, very powerful. So that's kind of with the birds of prey. That's what we're looking at. You could have a parrot, I guess, because it could mimic noises. That might be quite a good one. Mimic. Put that there. Mimics. Wile E. Coyote. Yes. Interactions between spectral powers and animals. Weapons, armor, stuff you're carrying. Spectral powers for your companion. Of course. Thank you, Paul. Spectral powers used on companions. Yeah. Just about fits in there. That would be a good thing. You could turn your animal companion into something larger or increase their size, and it gives them a special attack ability for a limited amount of time. So this could be fun. You know, you could get a spectral power that it quadruples the size of your companion, and then they attack with increased stats or a couple of new abilities, or gives them breathing. And Amiga says, now I just want to I want a mimic as a companion. No idea how it'd be useful. Just hilarious mental image. Yeah, then something that can mimic would be, so if you could distract, maybe if you had a parrot, say, I quite like the parrot is growing on me. It could fly and land somewhere, and then it could do a voice, and it would distract someone who's come in, and you might get an extra attack, something like that. Size of an elephant, yeah. David, how are you doing? Vorpal Bunny. Small random chance to behead opponent. Oh man, that would be some image, eh? Size of an elephant. Wow, that would, a doppelganger. A bear, yeah. Bears are definitely on the list as potential companions. So that would be pretty cool. A mimic for a companion would be would be the luggage from dear old Terry Pratchett's Discworld. Yep. I haven't actually read those books. I keep telling myself I should. I'm not really into humour when it comes to reading. I know there's quite a bit of humour in his books, isn't there? So I don't know. Maybe there isn't. Maybe that's my mistake. A cocoon that can be turned into a deadly butterfly. But that would be like a magical item, though, wouldn't it? I mean, you would take the cocoon, and you may find one. You can take, you know what it is, and then when in a combat you release it, and it flies out, and either it attacks you or the enemy. Who knows? A dire bunny. Negative Space, how are you doing? Good to see you. Dinosaurs. Oh my god. Did you just blow my mind, Stefan? Dinosaurs. Okay. So clearly, animal companions, mythical companions, dinosaur companions. The third expansion. That might work better as an ability, not an entire companion premise. Perhaps, well, yeah. No, you're right. It may be cocoon could be something that the animal does. Let me just fit that on here. The near extinct mythical multicolored foe. The foe creature. Oh my god. Vorpal Bunny, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Right. Yeah, that went over my head, that one. If you don't want to actually fight a dungeon, just take a Stegosaurus to knock the walls down. Imagine having a Velociraptor as your companion. Or it might be that there's a whole set of new dinosaurs that used to exist in Corradine. Or prehistoric creatures. Prehistoric companions. Maybe some kind of portal opens and through comes this companion that is like a little infant companion that you take. Land crab or terrestrial crab. Like the idea of the claw arms, yeah. Special attack. Snap attack. Oh my god, that'd be bad. What's David put? Scorpion. Yes. Again, it's an insect. It's a. That's more like a spectral power. Spectral power summon scorpions, something like that. I think this is definitely going to move away from insects, unless I create special creatures that have a kind of animal intelligence. I think maybe there will be an insect companions guide. Would there ever be a chance of a companion could turn on you? That is a good question. Or just refuse to do. Yeah. Refuses. I'm going to put refuses turns. Yes, it may be that there is. I haven't thought about it. It's a good question, Jeff. I like the concept. Let me just change this to something like that. That is a Wolverine. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, might have to have a look at the Wolverine. That is an interesting little creature, isn't it? What about constructs or elementals? Stefan, I mean, the elemental companions expansion. Yeah, Phoenix would be a great mythical one. It would be very much so. A rhinoceros type creature. Yeah. Well, I mean, there are lots of possibilities. Okay, so we talked about the types of creature. Yeah. What types of ability do you think the creature could have? Hand puppet. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, Bart Moss, a tiny elephant. I like that one. Kind of sounds like you need to plan for Companions Omnibus in the future. Yeah, it looks that way. Rebellious as an attribute. The more willful the animal, the more likely to disobey or do something. Well, yeah, as an attribute, I don't know about attributes. I'm going to put that down there. I mean, attributes, it could be personality, couldn't it? You know, what is the stats of an animal? Now, I've been thinking about the abilities and planning the abilities and how they mechanically work, but attributes maybe something further to expand. Tiny elephant can catch things and scare things with trumpeting. Love it. Can you hear? I don't know whether making the sounds is a negative thing in the dungeon. We must always remember that. But I guess it may be scary. Finding, stealing. Okay. Finding is all very well. I've been thinking about that, obviously. But stealing is a good point. That is a good point. So it may be that rather than attack, an animal steals from an opponent that they face, potentially. Attack, defend, yes. Carry, heal, distract, yes. Yeah, definitely got those ones. Are definitely lock picks, attack maneuvers, pick locks. Yeah, pick locks. Yeah, we've had that one with I put that down there already. That's fantastic. Detecting enemies by sound. Yeah. Hearing. Smell. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one there. Having to scout ahead. Yeah, I thought about the scouting ahead. The animal isn't going to really... There are a couple of reasons. If an animal scouts ahead and they encounter somebody and then they get killed. I don't think it really works so much. It's not like NetHack, which incidentally I'm gonna be playing some NetHack on the stream at some point, so that is coming. And the mechanics of trying to know what's ahead is tricky to handle. Basically, I talked about it earlier. Also, some types that could be suited to finding loot or even useful items in the dungeon. Yes, that's a fantastic thing. We are definitely, that's definitely going to be part of it. Roll for personality. Yeah. Agree. Different personalities would be good. Yeah, I think so. I think this could add some variety to it. Bart Moss says trade-offs for abilities sounds like a great thing. Yeah. A raccoon can loot someone while they are fighting them. Yeah. Did I not write raccoon down? I didn't I? I'm going to write that down. Raccoon's a... Obviously, we don't have raccoons here in the UK. But they're quite... Are they quite common over in America? Would that be a fair statement? Wolverine could have a chance to refuse a turn due to bloodlust. I like the idea of companions with attributes, but also negative attributes due to realistic. Yeah, a random guy. That is a fantastic... How are you doing, random guy? I think you're right. I think that negative attributes is important. I think because they're animals, aren't they? So they're kind of primitive in a way. They have that, as you say, bloodlust. Yes, raccoons are everywhere. Austin says, right. Raccoon are very common in the West. Yes, right. Yeah, we have raccoons even in urban areas, right? We don't have them over here, so we don't. I mean, the nearest thing is foxes. Foxes get into urban areas and raid bins. Squirrels, but they don't really do anything. They're just in gardens. They don't raid bins. And David loves them. We get stray cats, but really, living in the UK, there's no threat to life. Okay, nothing. There's nothing dangerous. They're pretty common. Will companion level up with you, Stefan? Companions don't level up with you. What happens is you level up their abilities. Okay, so they will increase. A companion, for me, it doesn't get stronger. It doesn't necessarily. Its abilities may. The abilities may be use armor, so that may increase. So they will get stronger in that respect, but they themselves don't gain a lot. They're just little animals often, so they're not going to get much stronger. It may be that certain leveling up of abilities may award them more HP, so that's going to be linked in. It's going to put that leveling abilities linked to HP. Just put that down as a reminder. Austin says, in a very cute way, raccoons actually have very small, dexterous hands. Thank you for sharing that. Right, missed a few here. So, Stefan, as I was saying before, the abilities level up. So you'll find that they become stronger, but they are still just small animals or companions. You will protect them, and they won't fight all out necessarily. They'll just be interjecting with abilities that you can use to influence situations. James says, not sure they're common, but I don't think they're exactly uncommon either. Probably depends on the region though. Bart Moss, tiny elephant, back on the tiny elephant front here, has tusks for attacks. It can trample tiny beasts. It can push over man-sized enemies. It's still reasonably strong, so it can put things big ears, so good hearing. I love your passion for the tiny elephants. Very good. I think we're going to have something like that. Something a bit chunky and heavy, but primitive to Corradine. It's going to be more... I think I'm going to come up with something that maybe fits that role. Trumpeting scare ability and the trunk for holding onto stuff. That's a good idea. Or for, washing blooded status down. That might be quite a good one. It's not just me, Toby. Everyone loves squirrels. Everyone! I actually love red squirrels, not grey squirrels. I hate to tell you this, because grey squirrels have nearly made red squirrels extinct. That's just not very nice. Grey squirrels eat all the red squirrel nuts before the red squirrels can. And they also have a disease which they spread to the red squirrels, which is a very bad thing. And red squirrels have tufts on their ears. What's not to love? Blaine says, small animals can allow for a surprise attack, giving the character an option to attack again. That's a good point, actually. Surprise. I'm going to put that down. Surprise goes on the little list over there. Thank you. I love squirrels too, says Mark to David. They eat from my hand up at my local park. Very nice. Stefan, will companion. I think maybe you meant to put something else there. If a tiny elephant is not fantasy enough, tiny mammoth. Tiny mammoth. That is a. I like that concept. Very good. Random guy. Animal companions can have extra carrying weight. Yes. Like dogs with packs, horses with packs. Yeah, we've talked about the horses, and it's only going to be animals that really come into the dungeon. As long as you give them a pack for something. Yeah, I like the idea. I think that some marsupials have the pouch, don't they, where they can carry stuff. So there may well be an animal that I create that's a bit like a kangaroo. And it can carry some smaller items for you, potentially. I don't know. Saber-tooth tiger. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. Definitely. That might have to go into the prehistoric companions. Will companions help out in the realm, like improving production of plot of land? Stefan, it's a really good idea. At the moment, the animal companions are just for the dungeon and the lairs, basically. That's because this is an expansion for 2d6 Dungeon, as is the realm. So this isn't an expansion for the 2d6 realm. So it's really designed so you can use it just in the dungeon, and it doesn't really deal with the realm. I don't want to assume that people have to buy the realm as well to be able to play the animal companion. So there will be some facility for it in the future. It's clear that it will be handy to have an animal out in the realm, and you will have when you're in you can have your Willona's Cave. Thank you for that very kind donation there. That's very nice of you. Thank you for making an awesome solo product. It has been a wonderful journey. I'm glad that you're here with us. I'm just enjoying doing it. It's just been amazing. So thank you for that. What have we got here? Paddington Bear keeps stuff under his hat. Fantastic. Why did you suddenly sound Australian? I didn't sound Australian at all. I used to live in Australia, so occasionally and my words go higher, which is like the Australian thing to do, because you go high when you're Australian. It's just a happy language. I love Australian. I love Australians, and I love the language. But occasionally it happens. Shetland pony goat hybrid. We're thinking about doing the. Hang on a sec here. Hang on. Has that cat used the litter tray?
Yeah, absolutely stinks.
Is Mum doing it?
No.
Could you go and get her to do it?
Yeah.
Talking about animal companions, the cat has just used a litter tray and the bloody thing stinks. The house stinks now. God. Could I sell you on a miniature horse, perhaps? You can ride it around the dungeon. Blaine, get away. Oh, man, I'm just sitting in the stink of the cat. It's heard me talking about the animal companions, and now it's gone and shat in the bloody litter tray. Oh, my God, it stinks. No. Oh, my God. Oh, cats. Ponies. Yeah. Right, so, fantastic. So there are definitely... So that's kind of where we're at. That's where we're at with it, and I'm fleshing it out now. This has been a fantastic little exercise, so thanks for these ideas, guys. It really has. There's some really good points in there. And certain animals provide night vision or light source like a phoenix. Random guy. That's fantastic. Trained skunks. I like the smell attack, but I tell you, that is vicious. Close the door as well when you do it. Oh my God, I've never streamed before and been so gassed out. Mark, you take care. Yeah, you take care. Chat soon. I will be sending stuff out soon. Animal companion with a poo attack. Oh man, yeah, that definitely feels that way. A land squid. Well, actually, we've been talking about a land octopus, which has kind of inspired me. So I'm definitely going to have to come up with some sort of animal that is tentacled, and that might be a bit too much like a spider. I don't know. I have to sort of see how that evolves. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I think that sums it up nicely. That little brainstorm box there. I think we got a good sense that that's going to be a useful. There's going to be some really fun things in there. We'll take some bits and pieces. You can select abilities, bang, and then they go, and you're done. Brilliant. Okay, so that's fantastic. If there's, on a slightly different note, we'll leave that there. That has been fantastic, as I keep saying. So what? If you have any questions or anything you want me to cover for the video on Monday, let me know in the comments section down below, or email me directly, toby@drgames.co.uk. Down the bottom there, you can see there's the website there. We have been having a few issues with the forms on the website, so it's been an absolute nightmare. So if you've filled in a form on the website and you haven't had a response to it, if you can just email me, toby@drgames.co.uk or joe@drgames.co.uk, and we'll get it sorted. We're not tech wizards or anything like that, so we're trying our best. But if you're not getting a response to something, then just chase me up a direct email and we will respond. Another great thing, we've just passed 5,000 people 5,000 members on the Facebook page, which is mind-blowing. So that's fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for the amazing support. Also, I wanted to say if you want to add stuff to your Kickstarter pledge, you can. If you go at the 2d6 Legendary Dungeon Kickstarter page, or the link down below, click that. There is an option to add stuff to your pledge if you want to. I've been encouraged by certain people to mention this on the stream this evening, so that is there. So and if you fancy clicking the like button, if this has been fun, that would be awesome. And if you're not subbed already, the bell's there if you want to click it. So no, I appreciate all the support, all the support doing this on these streams and just contributing. It just helps support the community and contributes towards the development of the game. It's just all there. It's easy stuff, free stuff to do. So that would be very cool. Guys, you are awesome. I appreciate everything you do. Again, if you've got any questions or anything you want me to cover on a video, just let me know and I will do my best. Okay, guys, you take care, and I will see you very soon.